and welcome to the second episode of I Am Connected. My name is Gemma Holgate and I'm a wellbeing consultant. And I'm really pleased today to be joined by Jackie Meek, who is a life coach. Jackie specialises in working with women who have the gift of being a mum to get present with their kids without neglecting themselves. And that just fits so nicely with what I've been talking about during February, which is our mental wellbeing month. And we're looking specifically at learning, getting to know yourself, getting to know your kids, and just being kind of present in that moment. So welcome, Jackie.
It's lovely to be here. Thanks, Gemma.
Oh, thank you so much. Jackie, can you just tell us a little bit more about being present and about being sort of mindful and what that means to you?
Yeah, I shall. Thank you. I've been on quite a journey since 2021 when I got introduced to the work of a company called Positive Intelligence.
Mhm.
And that's all around helping you to have a mind that serves you rather than a mind that sabotages you. As
Okay.
humans, we have this negativity bias, which was there originally to keep us safe. But actually, there isn't a lion in the bush anymore. So we don't need to look out for it. So we look at our saboteurs sabotaging us. And we then look at how we can move into what they call a sage mode, which is where we feel more connected and safe. And that helps us to really manage our mind, I guess.
Yeah, amazing. And how does that help us in terms of being mums and being parents?
Yeah, I think I've got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, so I'm kind of into the teenage years now. And I think it's still very relevant to be present with your children because we're in such a distracted world now. Our phones distract us, our running a home distracts us, other people distract us, and we're not used to being present. And
Mhm.
the work through positive intelligence enables us to just create that pause. Instead of automatically reacting to something, we can pause and choose how to respond in the way that's best for us and our children. So as mothers, when you've got young babies, you're pretty present because they're demanding you to be
Mhm.
present, demanding to be fed, demanding to be changed, demanding to be comforted. As your children get older and they explore the world and become more independent, your requirements for being present are less. But when they do need you, they really need you then. And so often we're, making food, we're unloading the dishwasher, we're doing the washing, whereas actually we haven't stopped and looked into our child's eyes, or we haven't stopped and played a game with them, or we haven't stopped and had a really good conversation or explored something together. And it's capturing that and recognizing the importance of being present, and it can transform our relationships both with adults and with teenage children as well. What I'm finding now is my children are pretty independent, but when they need me now, and they
Mhm.
need me to be fully present to solve something, to help with a problem, or to order something online, whatever it might be. So it's still important to be present. And as a mum, I want to model being present as well.
Mhm.
So I want to model being present with my husband. I want to model being present with my friends. And children watch and they see that. So that's a really, really important thing to me as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You mentioned saboteurs before and those kind of little thoughts that come in. Can you just explain a little bit more about those and how they have a negative impact on presence?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go on to Positive Intelligence's website, you can do a short 5-minute assessment, which will help to identify which are your top saboteurs. So there are 9 saboteurs. And what I found in all my coaching and all the courses I've run with my mum clients is that mums tend to have the pleaser saboteur in their top 3. And that has happened in every client I've worked with. So I have a high pleaser saboteur as well. The pleaser saboteur, for example, is where you have strengths. Although you have the pleaser saboteur, you have strengths. I'm a very loyal friend. I'm very dependable. If you ask me to do something, I'll say yes. I love pleasing people. I love words of affirmation, which are all good things, but only up to a point, because
Mhm.
sometimes the pleaser saboteur can be overused. So I may say yes to things where it would have been better to say no. I may feel like a slave in serving everybody. I may feel that I'm being taken for granted, that nobody thanks me. And that's when that pleaser becomes a saboteur.
Yeah.
So that saboteur has helped me in my childhood to get affirmation from my parents by serving. Um, and so it often comes from your childhood that the saboteurs are there to protect you, but actually they don't. They lie to you, they trip you up, they get in your way. So some of the other saboteurs, the avoider saboteur, which helps you to procrastinate really professionally. Another one is a stickler. So where you're really very determined to do things in your way and a set way, and nobody else's way is acceptable, and that can really sabotage you as well. So there are 9 saboteurs. The master saboteur is the judge saboteur, and that saboteur is the one that judges ourselves, judges others, and judges our circumstances. And we all have that as well, and that appears in different forms as well. The opposite of the saboteurs is the sage,
Mhm.
which is your wiser elder self. It's you on a good day.
Yeah.
It's you when you are present with your children, when you have a great conversation, where something comes up and you react really well. My one of my examples of reacting in my stage was when my daughter was about 4 and she wanted some mayonnaise, and I said, "Oh, just go to the fridge and get the mayonnaise." So she gets the mayonnaise, which happened to be one of the big glass jars, and she dropped it as she got it out of the fridge.
Oh,
And I just had that moment to pause, to think, how am I going to react to this? I've just got a choice how to respond here. And I burst out laughing. And I still remember that to this day because it was such an amazing response, because it's the perfect response. It didn't matter at all. The jar got smashed. That was okay. It was a funny thing to happen. You know, that's
yeah.
how I chose. Whereas if I'd been in saboteur mode, I could have reacted really negatively, over the top. You know, I could have scolded her. I could have said negative comments about her being, you know, careless, not taking enough care to do it. So, you know, that's the kind of sage response we're looking for, you know,
Yeah.
where actually I'm putting in a pause and I'm choosing how I want to respond. And that can have so many benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's amazing. Like just being able to take a step back, because obviously the way that we respond and the words that we use have an impact. So being able to switch is
Yeah.
really, really positive. I took the test myself actually, just out of
Okay.
curiosity.
Yeah.
And my highest one came out as hypervigilance.
Yeah.
So being like super aware. And I know that, I think part of that comes from just general sort of life programming, and then also from my experiences with PTSD and being having that kind of vigilance and awareness. And honestly, I go to a playground and I'm on edge all the time because
Yeah.
I'm always worried that somebody is going to get hurt. So what kind of processes does positive intelligence sort of recommend around sort of managing your sabotage and moving into that sage response?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, what they explore is the fact we have different muscles and different regions of our brain. So,
Okay.
on the right hand side is our beautiful sage. It's creative. It's open. It's curious. And on the left hand side is where all those saboteurs sit.
Mhm.
So, literally, we need different muscles, different neuro pathways in our brain to switch from the left-hand side to the right-hand side.
Right.
And what positive intelligence recommends is doing what they call short mindful exercises, they call them PQ reps. So PQ is short for positive quotient, and that's the amount of time that you're in a positive response as opposed to a negative response.
Right.
So when we are in the gym, we do reps to build our strength. And what positive intelligence suggests we do is PQ reps to build the muscles in our brain. So the more we spend doing things mindfully, the increase in the ability to respond well. And over a period of 8 weeks, if you do the PQ exercises regularly, it shows an increase in grey matter on an MRI scan. So it literally has a physical change in our brains, so that when we are faced with a challenge, we can choose how to respond. So instead of responding in the negative way, we can choose to respond in a positive way. Wow. So those reps can be just stopping and breathing, focusing all your attention on your breath. It tends to be one of your 5 senses, so that's a physical sense. You could also rub your thumb and forefinger together with such attention that you can feel the fingertip ridges on both fingers. You can do that secretly when you're giving a presentation or you're at the pub and feeling a bit anxious. No one will know. You can notice sounds. You can do things mindfully, such as making a cup of tea, listening to the sound of the water, feeling the weight of the kettle in your hand, listening to the noise as it boils. So all those things they're on the hoof mindfulness. So we're not sat cross-legged on your floor with your yoga mat. You're literally doing these mindfulness exercises throughout the day to help for that next time the saboteurs appear, because they're never very far away. So the more charge you can have in your brain, your PQ muscles charged up, the much more likely to respond rather than react. Wow. So with the course that I run through Positive Intelligence, you have an app on your phone which gives you an opportunity to do those PQ reps throughout the day. And they can be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 12 minutes, literally splitting your day up to keep that PQ charged up. And it's all on the app so that you can keep a note of your reps. You can access mindful exercises, and you can have a focus for the day to be mindful of as well.
Oh, fantastic. How did you get into doing all of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with regard to the Positive Intelligence, I have a peer coach who I've actually known since I was 14. He's one of my oldest friends, and he's now coaching as well. And he said to me in 2021, he sent me an email. He said, I've heard about this course run by Positive Intelligence, and you need to get signed up for it and then ask any questions later, because it's absolutely brilliant. So I thought, well, if he's saying that, I'll sign up for it. So that was in 2021. And the guy who runs Positive Intelligence is called Shirzad Shameen. And the way he's got it out in the world is to give the PQ Bootcamp, which is a 6-week course, for free to coaches. So that was the course I went on, and there's been, I think, about 100,000 coaches now doing it, or it's a really big number. So I did the free 6-week course with him because I'm a coach, and then I went on to train with Positive Intelligence for a year in order to be able to deliver that course. So that was back in 2021. So since then, I've delivered 7 PQ boot camps online with a variety of clients. And I've also written a PQ and faith course as well, because it fits quite well into the Christian faith, but it's a completely secular course, so it's open to anyone. But that's just sort of one of my passions as well. So yeah, so that's been my journey. And my journey into coaching really was when my youngest started school in 2014. I had some life coaching sessions myself. And what transpired from the coaching was that it transformed my relationship with my husband for the better. And I changed and he didn't. So every few months I would feel unloved. I'd say to him, I don't feel loved. Do you love me? And he'd say things like, of course I love you, I married you. I'm like, but that's not enough. And through the coaching, I was able to explore how different my husband and I are. And I could see, it opened my eyes to all the different ways that he does love me and the way he shows his love for me. But before then, I was completely blinded to those. I didn't see them. And
Mm.
I think I sat on the bus with my journal and I wrote down 16 ways my husband expresses his love to me.
Wow.
And I've never felt unloved since. And that just transformed my feelings. And so that hooked me on the power of coaching. And I then trained to become a life coach in 2016 and then set up my business. And my passion for mums just came out of my own birthing story. And I had a real clear picture when I was on my course that I wanted to be talking to mums in the playground. And so that's how my niche was born.
Oh, that's amazing. And really interesting that you sort of talk about that dynamic with your husband, because I'm sure we've all sort of been there when we've got a baby and we're at home and there's lots of things that need to be done, and um how that affects that relationship or how that impacts that
Yeah.
relationship. And I guess when we're talking about presence and being mindful, that has an impact on that relationship as well.
Yeah, it does. I heard a lovely phrase this week, and that was when a baby is birthed, so is a mother.
Right.
And you with a new baby, you're a new mum and you're just starting out and you've got so much to learn. And you are shaping yourself into being a mum rather than a woman,
Yeah.
and there's a whole load of identity, of self-worth, of labels, of learning and making mistakes, and you're at the really early stages of that. And I think getting some support sometimes is really important, because
Mhm.
you are breaking new ground. You're thrown, when you give birth, you're thrown and catapulted into this world you know nothing about,
Yeah.
and you're just starting out again. And that applies to, yeah, your relationship too, because that's had a big shock with the new baby coming on board. It's a huge shock, and that takes time to work through. And I think looking at your subject of learning, you need to learn how
Mm.
to be a mum and how to be in a relationship as a mum, how to be a friend as a mum, how to be a daughter as a mum, and how to show up at work as a mum.
Yeah.
There's all those different aspects, so it's a big change. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess there's a real need for kind of kindness and self-compassion within that, because it is all new. And I think that fits in really nicely. If you sort of need to try and be kind to yourself, but you've got these kind of saboteur thoughts that are coming in
Yeah,
and trying to tell you that you're not doing a good job and that
absolutely.
nobody likes you and that
Yep.
you're
Yeah,
damaging your baby,
yeah.
and all of that kind of stuff.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not working hard enough, you haven't got this together, all that. Yeah, they're all saboteur lies.
Yeah.
And again, by doing the assessment and going on the course, you start to recognize that saboteur. So
Mm.
now you're sat in the playground and you're watching all these potential accidents happening. You're like, thank you, hypervigilant saboteur, but I don't need you right now. I'm just going to watch my child.
Yeah.
And starting to have that awareness really does make a difference, starting to label them. um, and and also, I think, as you grow as a mum, you've got to continue to learn, you've got to continue to be open,
Mm.
and sometimes it helps to have some support with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. No, thank you so much, Jackie. It's been really fascinating to hear about, and I think it really adds a lot to this sort of topic of learning that we've been looking at. How can people get in touch with you, find out more?
Yeah, so my business is Future Path Life Coaching, so you can just Google me and you'll find me there. And also, if you are interested in doing the PQ boot camp, they start after every half term or school holidays. So then they sit nicely into the 6-week term. So just drop me a message. We can have a quick chat about it. If you're keen to do a boot camp, you don't have to be working. You can be an at-home mum. You can be in any different situation of motherhood. I coach people who are not mums as well, so don't feel that's restricted if you're not a mum at this stage. And the cost is £295 for the whole 6 weeks. You get an app that you can use for a whole year with all the different meditations on. You have weekly videos and then weekly pod meetings with me, so you'll be with other people, a small group of up to 6 people as well. So I'd love to have a chat with you. I'm really keen to come alongside people and to support them in their journey, whatever stage they're at.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been really, really great to have you. Thank you also to you for coming back and listening and hearing to what Jackie has to say. If you found it helpful, please like and please subscribe, and we'll see you again for the next one.